Hello and welcome. This is Ogtv Main News coming to you live from our news desk. My name is Bukola Agbakiso. On the news, Governor Abiodun constitutes Edo State as 3 ADC lawmakers defect to APC. President Buhari unveils cybersecurity policy. Osun State government signs $300 million agreements for 3 development projects. Georgia violence escalates as police arrest opposition leader. Peace, it's at our fingertips if we allow it to be.
And on sports tonight, Super Falcons trash Equatorial Guinea 9-0, lifts Turkish Women's Cup. Join me for these and many other stories on the sports segment of the news. I am Emmanuel Dasaudu.
Now the news in full. Towards a successful conduct of local government elections, Osun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has sent names of Osun State Independent Electoral Commission (OGCEC) members to the State Assembly for confirmation. Speaker Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, who read the governor's letter dated February 19 before the lawmakers during plenary in Abeokuta, directed the nominees to appear before the House for screening on Thursday, 25th of February 2021 at the Assembly Complex. Correspondent Kola Wolio shall cover the plenary. Details of his reports are presented in this package.
Osun State House of Assembly during its plenary acknowledged a correspondence from the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, containing the list of nominees for the composition of the State Independent Electoral Commission, OGCEC, for screening, ratification, and subsequent approval. The Speaker of the Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, read the Governor's letter dated 19th February 2021 before other lawmakers during the plenary, noted that the request was in furtherance of Prince Dapo Abiodun's administration's desire to improve the quality of service delivery to the people. Honorable Oluomo also reeled out the names of the nominees to include Mr. Babatunde Adetono Oshibodu, Chairman, Mr. Olatuji Isaac Akoni, Mr. Tajuddin Shoyeolu Omolaja, Ayodele A. Bankole, and Mrs. Bemi Onosoya as member designates.
May I immediately direct that the nominee appear before this House on Thursday, 25th, with 30 copies each of their curriculum vitae by 2 p.m. in the afternoon after our plenary. I saw them.
It would be recalled that the lawmakers had at previous session extended the tenure of the 20 local government transition committees for another period of 3 months, with a call on the state governor to immediately ensure the composition of the state electoral body to allow it, upon the Assembly's approval and subsequent inauguration, prepare for the smooth conduct of election into elective positions in the local government councils. In another development, 3 bills including Osun State Administration of Fiscal Planning, Urban Development, Slum Regeneration and Building Production Management Law 2021, the Osun State Residents Registration Agency, and the Registration of Osun State Residents Law 2021, as well as the Osun State Law Reform Commission Law 2021, scheduled first reading on the floor of the House as the Clerk and Head of Legislative Service, Mr. Adedeji Adeyemo, read them before the lawmakers.
Meanwhile, 3 members of the Osun State House of Assembly elected on the platform of the African Democratic Congress (AGC) have defected to the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress (APC). The lawmakers announced their defection in separate letters read by the Speaker of the Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, during plenary held in the chamber. Correspondent Kola Wolio shall cover the plenary, and his report is presented once again in this package.
The good governance exhibited by the Governor of Osun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, led to the defection of people from the opposition party to the ruling party, All Progressives Congress, APC, in the recent times. This has also led the 3 members elected under the platform of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, at the State House of Assembly to defect to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The defectors are the Minority Whip, Honorable Jamili Akingbade, representing Imekwa from State Constituency, Chairman, House Committee on Health, Honorable Adegoke Adeyanju, representing Yewa North 1 State Constituency, and Chairman, House Committee on Environment, Honorable Wahab Aruna, representing Yewa North 2 State Constituency. In his response, the Speaker congratulated them for joining the ruling party, saying their coming would be for the betterment of the party and the development of the state at large. The symbol of the party was thereafter handed over to them by the majority leader, Honorable Sharif Yusuf. Speaking on behalf of others, Honorable Adegoke Adeyanju stated that they decided to join the ruling party after due consultations with their constituents and supporters, having taken into consideration the good work embarked upon by Governor of the state, Prince Dapo Abiodun.
In terms of in the education sector, health sector, security, Governor Dapo Abiodun is doing extremely well. And I make it know that I'll be loyal to this party, but not at the detriment of people I'm representing.
It would be recalled that 7 members of the Allied People's Movement, APM, recently defected to the APC, and out of the 26 members of the House, APC now has 25, while the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has 1 member.
Osun State government has signed agreements for the execution of 3 development finance institutions funded projects in line with Governor Dapo Abiodun's economic development agenda in the state. The projects include the Osun State Economic Transformation Project, Ogtv, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP, and Value Chain Development Program, VCDP. The State Commissioner for Finance and Governor's Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Dapo Ukubadejo, signed the agreements on behalf of the state, while the Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Dr. Mercy Zainab Ahmed, signed on behalf of the federal government. Speaking on the project's significance, Ukubadejo said the transformation project deal worth $250 million was a World Bank-funded project aimed at increasing the participation of private sector in the state's economy, with focus on improving the business enabling environment, strengthening agric value chain, and upgrading skills. He noted that the project had commenced in 2017 with the payment of $5 million as project preparation advance, PPA, to support the state government in preparing for the formal application of the project. The commissioner submitted that the Osun State Economic Transformation Project would make the state more attractive for private sector investments, thus increasing its internally generated revenue base. On the $45 million Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP, Ukubadejo disclosed that Osun State, with 3 projects, was a prime beneficiary of 6 projects approved by the World Bank across the country on February 18, 2020. He said RAMP, which has the mandate of fixing select rural roads and markets across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, has been running at preparatory stage with a counterpart fund before the signing of the $44.23 million credit agreement. Osun State and the federal government, according to him, signed the subsidiary loan agreement on February 11, 2021 to finance rural roads and develop select markets for enhanced prosperity to local farmers, mainly youth and market women. On the VCDP worth $15 million, the commissioner stated that the project was being implemented in only 9 states of the Federation, with Osun State as the only one from the Southwest. He listed other states as Anambra, Benue, Ebonyi, Niger, Nasarawa, Kogi, Taraba, and Enugu. Ukubadejo revealed that the state government had supported 8,534 small farmers to access improved farm inputs, as well as linkage to the market with recommended seeds, fertilizers, and agrochemicals, adding that over 1,000 youth were trained on modern rice and cassava farming techniques. He disclosed that rice production recorded an increased yield of 47% for the Value Chain Development Program beneficiaries, from 1.5 metric tons per hectare to 3 metric tons, while cassava recorded increase in yield of 61% for Value Chain Development Program beneficiaries, from 18 metric tons per hectare to 32.3 metric tons per hectare. The commissioner also said with additional financing, AFI, of $89.1 million, which was provided for the program by IFAD at the request of the federal government, VCDP. The program implementation has been extended by 3 years period, bringing its completion to December 31, 2022, and the loan closing date to June 30, 2023. Osun State government will not relent in its effort at ensuring that all COVID-19 protocols are observed, most especially the use of face masks to help flatten the curve of the virus. The State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Honorable Dr. Toyin Taiwo, who is also a member of the Special COVID-19 Task Force, made this known as the enforcement of use of face masks continues in the state. Bumi Adigun reports.
Worried by the increasing number of infections from the daily updates on COVID-19, Osun State government swung into action to ensure a reduction by enforcing the use of nose masks. There is no better place to send the signal of enforcement other than the seat of government, where civil servants who on daily basis have interaction with the larger society was the first port of call.
Any marketplace in Nigeria is always crowded with little regard to social distancing and use of face mask among buyers and sellers, as typified here.
This is Iberekodo Market in Abeokuta, where it will be difficult to observe the basic protocols, with few using their nose masks while others do so at the prompt of the camera. When those in the market, particularly the sellers and non-sellers alike, were asked about the existence of the virus, the responses are shocking. Another difficult place that the enforcement might suffer a setback is school environment, but the management of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic Abeokuta has also gone ahead to constitute an implementation committee.
That committee is for implementation of coronavirus protocols. With the committee constituted, I also joined them as a rector to drive home the issue better.
From the parks and garages in the state, it is continuous sensitization of drivers and passengers on the need to join the campaign.
Àti ṣe face mask fún gbogbo àwọn driver tó bá lọ nínú garage ẹ̀rí àpò fún ẹni tí ò bá ti bomú kó má jẹ́ kó wọ mọ́tò. Gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa à ń fi àsìkò yìí bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ wípé kó tẹ̀lé nǹkan tí ìjọba ń ṣe. Àwa náà ń ṣe torí a fẹ́ kí ìjọba fi ọwọ́ òfin mú wa.
Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Toyin Taiwo, is a member of the Special COVID-19 Task Force. He re-emphasized state government's commitment at ensuring that everyone is safe.
We are moving to the eastern part of the state, and then on Friday, God willing, we are moving to the western parts of the state. Now, whenever you are apprehended, if you are a violator or you are an offender, you'll be taken to the mobile courts and they'll give you the judgment, and depending on the gravity of your offense.
However, to avoid a lockdown of socioeconomic activities as experienced during the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic, it is imperative that people must play their parts. Though there are still subsisting protocols to flatten the curve of the pandemic, it is observed that a complete total disobedience of the measures is the order of the day. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
And still to come in the news, federal government inaugurates a 13-member ministerial task force on digital switchover process in broadcasting sector. More news and report in part 2 of the news. Thanks so much for joining us in part 2 of the news. In continuation of the distribution of palliatives to victims of the herdsmen farmers conflict that occurred recently in Osun State, the state government has begun another round of distribution of food items to Fulani communities in Olodo, Rounda, and Sabo areas of the state. The chairman, subcommittee on provision of palliatives and commissioner for budget and planning, Olaolu Olabinton, who said that the distribution of the palliatives was in continuation of the exercise which took the team to Yewa North local government recently, added that the idea was meant to give the affected people succor. Olabinton, while saying that the committee would look into the immediate and remote causes of the crisis, disclosed that the cost of damaged property during the conflict as well as the appropriate compensation for those that lost their property during the conflict would also be looked into. He added that the committee would look at measures that would help forestall the recurrence of such conflicts in the future.
Let them have something to feed on whilst the bigger committee is still working. So, like it has been stated, the committee is going to work on the immediate and the root causes of what has happened. We are going to work on the cost and the valuation, and then we will begin to talk about damages and compensation. Of course, we will also be talking about how we will ensure that this kind of thing will never again happen in our midst. We have spoken to their leaders and they are quite appreciative.
The Ethnic Affairs Hadi Sani, while appreciating the governor for his prompt intervention, urged his people to be law-abiding citizens and also imbibe the spirit of peace and unity.
A brainstorming stakeholder sitting to negotiate how to resolve this issue. His Excellency President Kwabedu promised to cater for the victims, because while we had the crisis, many people are displaced from the host community and from the Fulani community. And we thank His Excellency for coming to aid both the host community and Fulani community by providing food palliatives for them to eat, because they are all displaced for now.
The chairman, Fulani Youth Southwest, and member of the committee recently set up by the state government to look into the root causes of the crisis between farmers and herdsmen in the state, Mumini Ibrahim, while thanking the state governor for fulfilling his promise of providing palliatives to the affected people, assured that he would ensure the palliatives get to the beneficiaries.
wọn ò róúnjẹ jẹ wọn dáná sílé wọn ó dẹ̀ sọ pé máa fún wa lóúnjẹ jẹ àdẹ̀dú pépé wọn bá wa mú oúnjẹ yẹn wá àárí àwa náà dẹ̀ máa jíṣẹ́ yẹn ti létò.
It will be recalled that the state government some days ago handed over some palliatives to victims of herdsmen farmers conflict in the Yewa North local government area of the state. The distribution makes it the second of many to come. Chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, Rotimi Akeredolu, has declared that the governors in the region would fight criminality with every legal means. Akeredolu equally dismissed the views held by some northern governors and leaders that Amotekun was established to tackle ethnic nationality or business. The chairman, who doubled as the Ondo State governor, said this during his second-term inauguration lecture held in Akure. Akeredolu added that most Nigerians are losing faith in the unity in diversity sloganeering, but there is an opportunity to restore national consciousness through true federalism. Nigeria has unveiled the National Cyber Security Policy 2021. President Muhammadu Buhari, who unveiled the document, said it is a milestone that government's efforts at ensuring that unscrupulous elements do not use the cyberspace for nefarious activities to harm Nigerians and cause national security challenges.
Focus its efforts on several information and communications technology-driven initiatives. All these initiatives serve as enablers for tackling many of the economic and security challenges facing our country, while also providing us with a platform to improve accountability and transparency in our unwavering resolve to tackle corruption.
That was President Muhammadu Buhari on cyber security. And from Imo State, the state's governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has justified that the recent drafting of the military to Olu was to rid the area of suspected criminals. He said it sought the intervention of the federal government to tackle security challenges in the area. The governor made the clarifications while speaking with State House correspondents after a closed-door session with President Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, the issue of bringing the military to Imo State, you recall during the NSAS protests, a lot of properties were damaged in Imo State. Police stations were burned down, soldiers were killed, their rifles removed from them. And immediately after the NSAS, we thought it was over. Then issues of kidnapping, where a Catholic bishop was kidnapped, people were killed, and these militants comes out and begin to shoot. We lost lives. Market women were killed. Old women were raped in Olu area of Imo State. And they visited this serious terror on the citizenry. And I came here, pleaded with Mr. President for his support. And he sent additional support by sending in police, and the military also came in. And that's where we are. It was on my invitation that the military came. And I did that because I know the situation was beyond the local arrangement. We needed help, and the help was given to us. And as I speak to you, the situation has come down to calm or normal. People are now going about their businesses, and those caught will soon be charged to court.
Imo State Governor on security situation in the state. Towards achieving an effective feedback mechanism to ensure the success of the National Social Investment Program of the federal government, a training program for independent monitors has been flagged off. The program was flagged off by the Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogumbanwo, on behalf of Ogun State Governor at the Obas Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Matthew Showumi reports.
To achieve the vision of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years through different social investment programs, effective supervision and feedback mechanism is highly required. This is what this training program for independent monitors carefully selected across all the 20 local governments in Ogun State is meant to achieve. Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogumbanwo, expressed appreciation of the state government for the people-oriented programs geared to